Hi, welcome to Cape May Days, a podcast celebrating all the wonderful things in and around this amazing shore town. I'm Jane Gober, your host. Cape May has been my happy place for a very long time. And a few years ago, I started a successful blog and decided to take it to the next level. I'm so excited that you're here joining me on this crazy adventure. Today, we're talking to Dawn Dudley, a photographer in the Cape May area. Dawn was actually my photographer when I did my photo shoot for my blog, and she made it fun and easy, even though I was absolutely terrified. She just guided me through the whole process, and it was actually turned out to be a blast. So, welcome, Dawn. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. I'm really excited.
So, tell me a little bit about yourself. How did you first get started being a photographer?
So it kind of all goes back to when I had my babies. I went to college for teaching and hated every second of it. And then once I had my two kids, I decided I wanted to be home with them. There's no way I can go teach somebody else's kids when I just want to be home with mine. So I literally was trying to do any job. I was going to be a post office person. I was going to be a flight attendant. You name it, I was going for it. But in the meantime, my husband bought me a camera. And I was in love with my sister in law's stepdad, who was a photographer. And I'm like, man, it's amazing how he can take his camera and create these gorgeous images. And I just started to play around with my camera and I would take pictures of the babies and just having such a blast with that, not even thinking that that could be a career. And then a few of my friends one day, they were like, hey, any chance you could take pictures of my family? And I was like, yeah, sure. She's like, I'll give you like $50. And I was like, you're going to pay me to take pictures? Yeah, I'm in. Sign me up. So I ended up taking photos of them and it clicked. I was like, hold up, I can turn this into a business. So I jumped online. I learned everything about the camera and I just went all in. And then within a year, I was able to quit teaching, which was a blessing. God set that up completely. And then, yeah, I just kind of took off from there. I love my job now, which is the best. So that's how I got started, is just literally trying to get out of one career. And this career just kind of fell on my lap. And the fact that it's a career that I love has just made it so many years now. So I think I'm going, 2017 is when I started. So it's been a few years now. I would say, what is that? My daughter was born in 16 and she's going to be 8. So almost 8 years, which is just,
That's crazy.
oh, it blows my mind. I'm like, how? Like, I remember sitting there thinking, like, there's no way I can turn this into a career. And now this is
Mhm.
my full time gig. And it's just the people I've met and everything. I just love it so, so much.
That's
So,
amazing. So, what
yeah.
is your favorite thing that you like, your favorite subject that you like to photograph?
So when I first started, I was literally photographing anything and everything. Like I was photographing parties, I was trying to do weddings, I was trying to do all of that. And now that I've been in it for a while, families, without a doubt, hands down, is my favorite thing to photograph. And not just any family, but I love families with like little guys, like toddlers.
Yeah.
I would say anywhere from like the age of, oh my gosh, 6 months to 5 years old. That's my favorite ages. They're just so organic and fun. And it's just, that's when you get the real smiles. And then the chasing around and playing with them. And oh, yeah, families with little guys are my absolute favorite.
Well,
So,
I follow you on Facebook, so I see all your things that you post, and you've got some amazing,
oh,
amazing. It must be so rewarding, being able to give. Yes, you're being paid for it, of course, but you're also giving them such a gift
mhm.
of, having that memory, especially when they are little, because they
Oh, yeah.
change so fast and they grow so fast.
Oh,
you know? So
I,
what advice would you give to, you know, a somebody that wants to have family photos in the Cape May area? Like, just if they start thinking about it, what are some of the things they should think about in preparation for it?
So there's so much advice to give, and I've learned kind of what works and what doesn't work throughout the years. But my number one advice is for you to go look into your photographer. It's so easy. Usually people come into town and they throw in like, hey, local photographer, and they choose the first one and they go for it. But if you're not looking at their work and you're not looking to see what they have or what they do, what their style is, it might not be what you're looking for. So I'm sure you're familiar. Photography is not, it's expensive. Photography is
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
a cheap thing to come across. Some people would rather just, grab a cheap photographer, but if you don't know their work, then you might be wasting your money. So my biggest advice is to people is to go through, look at a photographer, go to their Instagram, go to their Facebook, check out their work, look at the style that they're using with the colors. Are they a bright kind of airy look? Do they have more of a dark, like mysterious type look to them? So kind of think of your decor in your house, because the object to get the biggest thing that you want to do when you get these photos to print them out, right? We live in this digital world that you grab the photo, you check it out, and then you swipe, and that's the last time you see of it, right? So what we want to do as photographers is create that image that's going to be on your wall. So when you're hiring a photographer, if you're hiring somebody that has a dark and kind of like a mystery type look to it, but then you have this beautiful, bright and airy beach house, it's not going to match. So my suggestion to you is to go in and to look at, like I said, their work, and then how they photograph too. Do they photograph all portraits? Is that what you're looking for? Are you looking for the family portrait that everybody's looking at the camera? Or are you looking for something more of like a story, where maybe on your walls, when you look at your session, is it you playing with the kids? Is it you and your husband, having fun on the beach or at the park or whatever it is? But that's what my biggest advice would be, is to look into your photographer, look into their work, make sure that that's what you're looking for. And in the end, are you going to be able to print out those photos? Are they going to be what you're looking for? So that's my main, yeah, I would say that's my biggest, because I've had people hire me and they're like, oh, I really want, X, Y, and Z. And when I have send them to my work, I'm like, oh, it's not really what I do. I'm willing to try it, but sometimes I like to suggest them to a different photographer that's going to hit that style. Because like I said, it's not a cheap thing for if you're hiring somebody that's very experienced. And it's something that's going to be there forever. You're going to have these pictures hopefully forever, and they're going to be on your walls. And 20 years from now, you're going to look at that photo and you're going to live in that moment again. So yeah, that's my biggest advice.
Awesome. Well, actually, I did write a blog post early on, one of my earlier posts on encouraging people to have their family beach photos taken. If they were thinking about doing it, like do it now, don't keep putting it off. Mostly
Yep.
because I did that, right? It was always going to be
Mhm.
next year, next year. Now my kids are 26 and 22, and it's a whole different type of
Mm.
beach picture than the one that I envisioned when they were little. So, but that one lists quite a few photographers in the Cape May area, so they could go
Okay.
through with their
Perfect.
links and really be able to do that kind of comparison thing.
Awesome.
So that would make it easy for them. So look for that link.
Yep. That's, I
I'll even
definitely
put it,
suggest that. Go ahead.
yeah, in the YouTube version. I'll put the link to it down in the comment section.
Awesome.
Um,
Good.
so where is your favorite Cape May, or some of your favorite Cape May locations? I know when we did our shoot, we did the mall, we did Congress Hall, we were on the beach, we were in front of a couple different shops around Carpenter Mall.
Mhm.
Um, I think that's it. I think that's what we did. But there's so many, especially if you're doing family photos, there's so many options, from Sunset Beach to, Cove Beach. So what do you try to, well, obviously it's the client's thing, but what do you love to do?
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I mean, I definitely ask the clients right away, because there's some people that come down to Cape May and they're like, stayed at this house every single year and we love that beach, and that beach means something to us. So that's is the first thing I'll do, is ask the people if there's anything special. But if they don't, then there's a street. So you know where Cove Beach is at the very
Hmm.
end? So there's the
Yeah.
little like hideaway beach around the corner.
Mhm,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I Vermont, I think it is, or something
Mount
like that.
Vernon. Mount
Yes.
Vernon.
Yep. So it's like a little path back there. There's this cute little path that's all wood and like a bridge almost, and then it opens
Apparently
up to
that's
this.
haunted, by the way.
Really?
I've
I
heard that it's
did.
haunted.
Oh, I could see that though, because it's
Yeah.
all covered in like all the greenery that's there. Oh my gosh, that's funny. I'm gonna have to look out for some things. But yeah, no, it's just you can get so many great shots there. And then there's a little opening that you can kind of jump into if there's not something blocked off, because sometimes they have like the birding there. And then when you come down, there's like, oh my gosh, the greenery is gorgeous right on the beach path itself. So that's a whole nother session right there. And then once you walk past that, then you have the bird like block off. So that whole beach has nobody on it. So you just get this awesome view of the lighthouse.
Yes.
And like I said, there's nobody around. So I'm not really battling crowds or anything. The sunset's right there. So that is probably my number one spot in Cape May on the beach area. I would say if I were to go inside, it's just around the mall, depending on the season. Somebody has hired me before to shoot the mall in this middle of the summer, and it's chaos. So, but like the fall time, it's not as busy, and they always string up those lights throughout the mall. Have you seen that?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
pretty.
gorgeous. So it gives such a little ambiance about it. And so I would say they're my two favorite spots. Is that little hidden beach past the cove, and then throughout the mall there. But Cape May, oh my gosh, there's so many spots. I could probably name 100 for you. Cape May is my favorite spot out of all of the towns around here to photograph. So yeah, there's so many good spots.
And I can see why there's so many pretty parks, um,
Hmm.
and that little piece of Cove Beach, for my personal pictures, I've gotten some gorgeous sunset pictures there
Oh
with the
yes.
lighthouse in the back that
Yep.
are just some of my favorites.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, it's, there's, and of course, like I said, if, whatever the client wants, maybe they have been at Congress Hall every time they come and they
yep.
wanna be on the lawn or whatever.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. The only thing with Congress Hall, though, I think because it's usually so busy there on the field and that kind of stuff. I try to avoid Congress Hall a little bit, but that in the winter is stunning, especially with that big tree that's there. And
mhm.
then they used to have those little globes. So that was a neat. And then they always have
Yeah,
that little garden. Have you been back in that little garden there?
yeah, it's so pretty.
Um, yeah. So Congress Hall really can be awesome. But in the summertime, there's so many
Yeah.
people there.
Yeah, it's crazy. It is crazy.
uh,
So do you have any funny stories of photo shoots you've done that you could
Oh my
share?
gosh. So literally this happened the other day. So once in a while I get hired to hide out as for somebody when they propose. So I'm capturing the moment. So I'm down in actually North Wildwood. A couple or a guy hires me, and he wants to do it right in front of the North Wildwood Lighthouse. And he's like, there's a really cool path right up to the seawall. And then there's this bench there. Like we sometimes sit there and just hang out. He's like, that's where I'm going to do it. I'm like, that sounds great. I'll hide out on right in the lighthouse. It'll be great. So I get there maybe a half hour before them. And it's 10 minutes until they show up. And this little old man comes strolling up, and he's got a suitcase with him. I'm not thinking anything of it, except he goes and he sits down on that bench. And I'm like, oh, he's right there where he's going to propose. And I'm like, okay, maybe he's just going to sit there and then he'll continue walking. Well, now he's taking stuff out of the suitcase and he's like displaying it on the bench. And I'm like, I got to move this guy. So I go up, I'm like, hi, sir. Like, I'm so sorry, but I'm about to photograph something here. And if I could just get you to move over one bench, that would be great. And he's like, I sit here every day. And I'm like, oh, but I'm just 10 minutes. I need you to move over 10 minutes. So I finally and first of all, he sits down and he's like, well, tell me what you're photographing. And I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, this guy's going to be here. And he's like, I told him, I was like, there's guys coming. He's going to propose. I'm going to capture the whole thing. It's going to be amazing. So he sits down on the bench and he's like, let me tell you a little something about love. And I'm like, I'd love to hear it. I'm like, but I need you to tell me about it on that bench. So now I'm helping him carry everything up, and I put it over to the other bench, and he's telling me about love and all these things. And the guy texts me and he's like, I will be there. We're getting on the seawalk. We'll be there in 2 minutes. And I'm like, oh, all right. So I'm like, all right, sir, I gotta go. I gotta make sure I'm ready for this. So I run back and like kind of hide in the bushes there. So the couple comes right where the spot where he's supposed to be. He gets down on one knee, and the old man looks around and he doesn't see me. Now he's yelling, "Yo, you're missing it. Where are you?" And he's screaming. And I'm like, "Oh my gosh, no. Like, what are you doing?" So the guy gets down on one knee and he's like, "The people you're photographing is here." And he's trying to help me because he thinks I'm missing the whole thing. And I'm photographing it, but now I'm like, I'm listening to this guy screaming. The girl is so like, wait, what's going on? And then I come up to finally, like, the whole thing goes through. I come up to the couple, and the old man's like, "You missed the whole thing." And I'm like, "No, I didn't. I was in the back hiding." Oh my God, it was so funny. Thank God the couple have seen him every day. So they were like, "It's okay. Now he's part of our story."
Oh, well, that's good that they were understanding and they weren't upset about it.
Yes, exactly. I felt so bad. I was like trying to get the guy's attention, like, "Oh, I got this. Trust me."
Oh, and
Um,
that's that is such a very personal thing that you're not
uh-huh.
gonna, like, redo it. My when my son proposed to his fiancée, he did the same thing. He had, like, the secret photographers, and he was a wreck
Oh my
up
gosh.
until it happened because he just wanted to make sure that everything went right and that she didn't see them and they were in place and all the things, and so I'm glad it all worked out, but yeah, that must have been crazy.
Oh my gosh, but the guy who proposed, he didn't even hear the guy yelling. He was like, I was so focused in on what I was doing. And the girl was like, I don't know what he said. All I heard was the guy yelling. I was like, oh man. So there was
Well,
that
that's
story, and then there was another one from this past summer. So sometimes I like to just let my clients have fun, like just go do your thing. And if they can't really come, like they feel awkward, I'll kind of give them like little cues. So one of my cues sometimes is to just dance. I'm like, have fun, dance with each other in the water, and I'll just photograph them. Well, this one couple used to take lessons, and they looked at each other like, this is great. So they start going and they are putting out a whole routine and they're going.
oh,
Now they're right at the water's edge. This is the end of the session, thank God. Well, spins her and then goes to dip her, but loses his footing. And she goes boom right down to the water. And he comes crashing on top of her and then rolls off her so he doesn't have her right into the waves. Oh my gosh. Like I said, luckily it was the very end of the session, so we got all the photos we needed. They were soaking wet, covered in sand, and I photographed the whole thing as he's rolling off her and
yeah.
everything. They were like, "We have to have those photos though, because that's just a story in itself." So that was the entertainment for that day.
Yes, I'm sure, but again, super special photos. Yeah, it didn't go
Mhm.
according to plan, but just great memories.
Oh yeah.
Um,
And it was fun. Like they were
yeah.
laughing, their friends were laughing. So it was in the end, it was like something they probably went out and told all their friends about. So
I really was scared when you did my photo shoot. Like, I
oh,
was literally trembling a little bit, and I think the thing that I loved so much about working with you is you gave me such clear direction, and you just
mm,
made me feel such at ease when
yeah.
I was the whole time before I'm thinking, "I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. I'm gonna look like an idiot. I have no clue what to do." But you directed me beautifully, and I look back on those pictures and I didn't feel super staged or super posy.
Oh, good.
Um, I just felt really natural, and you suggested things that in a million years I wouldn't have thought of. Not that they were that crazy. It's just that you're like, take your hat and put your hat here and put your glasses there and go
Yep.
like this, and I could just without that direction, I think, to your point, like a different photographer might have just had me very, like, almost like headshot photography, but
Mhm.
everywhere, and so I really appreciated all the direction. So,
Yeah.
especially having never done anything like that before.
Oh, good. And you know what's great is digital cameras. I can shoot a bazillion photos of you and we can try everything we want. And I get to go through at the end and see the ones that worked and what didn't work. Because in a session, there's so many things that I shoot. I don't let my clients know, but that just don't look well.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that didn't work. She's not going to ever see that photo again. But I have the ability to do that. I have the ability to just create kind of as we go. And a lot of with personalities, like as we went on to the session, you got a lot more comfortable with what you
Yeah.
were doing
Yeah.
and a lot more comfortable in posing. And just there were some things that you would even do that I'm like, yes, that looks amazing. Like, don't, yeah, stay that
Yeah.
way. So a lot of the times I feed off my clients. So I'll start off with an X amount of poses, but one pose that works for you might not work for another client.
Yeah.
So it's just getting comfortable. Like you said, it's just feeling like you're not staged and just making you feel like you're just killing it, like you're crushing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And that's when you get the good smiles. That's when you get the good poses. And when you walk away and you're like, that was fun.
But I think that you made me feel that way
Oh, good. That's
by
my
your
goal.
comments, by just you were so relaxed, you were so natural, you were so easy that you made me feel that way.
Oh,
So,
good.
yeah,
Good. Yeah,
it
that's
was
my
a lot of
goal.
fun. I should probably do that
Good.
again soon, actually.
Yes, you definitely need to. I think that was what,
Yeah.
3 years now ago?
Yeah.
Time
Yeah.
flies.
It does. It does, like crazy.
Yeah, we should do a
So,
fall session when it has all of the different changing of colors and everything.
yeah, because I think mine was a spring session. Because I
Yes.
remember actually, I have the same shirt on. I
Oh, do
pulled it
you?
out of my closet.
I love it.
But I remember being chilly.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
it was chilly. So
Yeah.
I think it was spring. It was just before everything was starting to warm up.
Okay.
And the mall was busy, but not, like, insanely so.
Right. Yeah, no,
But
I
yeah,
just shot 2 sessions this past fall in the mall, and oh my gosh, the colors of the trees just in the mall were gorgeous.
yeah,
And then, like I said, they have the string lights and then just like popping down a couple of side streets with all the changing of colors there. It's
yeah.
beautiful. So
And
I
they
highly
decorate it so pretty as well.
Oh, they totally do.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's always
So,
decked out, so, um, so this is a question I ask everybody.
mhm.
What is your favorite thing, just you personally, not Dawn photographer, Dawn, just Dawn. What is your favorite thing about Cape May?
Oh, I don't know. I love Kate May. My favorite thing, I would just say the shopping, to be honest. My parents live in Cape May and they have a golf cart. And one of our favorite things to do as a family is jump on that golf cart and just cruise around. I mean, just the houses are gorgeous. So if you just get a little bit of history as you go through,
Yeah,
and then just shopping in the mall, you feel like you're in a whole different state and you're just walking up and down and just popping in all these little malls and it's all just one strip. So you don't have to go too far and they have everything. So, and the coffee, that's another thing. I love grabbing a
yeah,
coffee and just walking
yeah.
up and down the mall. So I don't, yeah, I would say just Cape May in general. I love it. Um, but yeah, I would say shopping and just cruising around the golf cart is my favorite thing about Cape May.
Yeah, I think the shopping is unique in that,
Mhm.
a lot of destination places, the shops are just full of pretty hokey souvenirs, where
Yes.
Cape May has such a wide variety of all sorts of different kinds of stuff.
Uh-huh.
And some things are locally made and some things aren't.
Mhm.
But it's always, you're always going to find that unique whatever, whether it's popping into the whale's tail
Ugh, love the
for,
whale tail.
you know, really interesting, unique jewelry,
Mhm.
or, you know, down to the bath place and getting unique bath stuff. I mean, there's just so many different kinds of things you can find. So yeah, I love going there too. Um, when I'm in town, that's perennially something we do every single time, is just, even if it's just to go for a stroll, like you said, grab a cup of coffee and stroll up and down and people
Mm.
watch and look in windows and stuff.
Yeah, and they have really
It's
good
just a good time.
restaurants right on the mall too.
Yeah. Or
So,
just off the mall. Yeah.
yeah, there's so many. It's like every block there's at least one and the
Yeah.
drinks are fun.
A couple of fun bars. Yeah,
Yes.
it's just a good time.
Yeah, no, I do. I adore Cape May. That's why my parents moved there. their whole life. That's all they wanted to do was move to Cape May, and now they're right there over the bridge. So they're just
Awesome.
loving life. Yes, I love
Yeah.
it. There's more reason to visit.
Of course. And with
Oh,
your kids too,
oh yeah,
which I'm
they love
sure. Yeah.
it. So
So, well, thank you again for being
yes,
here
my
and
pleasure.
joining me. So tell everybody, I will put things in the YouTube version, where I can put links and stuff, but tell people for the audio version where they can find out more about you.
The best way to get in touch with me is through my website. So it's www.dawnmp17.com. No, I lied. It's www.dawnmp.com. But yeah, you're going to see all of my packages there. There's an inquiry sheet. So that's the easiest way. It'll link you right to my email, and then we can get in touch there. So I would say right to my website is the best, or
And I
Instagram.
and Facebook, I follow you on Facebook as well.
Hmm.
And you're always posting
I try
um,
to.
your work, and it's a really really good way to have an easy um, sampling of the things that you do and your style and how you've done things, and maybe also give people ideas of the
Yes.
types of things that they want to do themselves, because
Mhm.
I know from just what I should say, speaking for myself personally, if I had done it back in the day, I would have needed to look at things because I wouldn't have known going into it even what I had in my head of what I wanted it to look like.
Right.
Obviously, you give fabulous direction, but I'm one of those people that kind of like to have an idea of what things might be before I go and start something. So that's
So
also a good place to do that. So,
yeah, and I would say for outfits, that's one of my biggest questions when I book a session is people are like, okay, now what do I wear? So if you just check out, again, that goes back to my advice with your photographer, look at to see what their clients are wearing and in different shots, what do you love? Like you'll see that in my work with especially the beach, wearing pastel colors work really well with my style, or wearing those neutral colors. But somebody who might have a darker style, you might be better in navy blue on the beach. So look at that, take detail to what people are wearing in their photos and what catches your eye. So, like I said, if you see those photos in mine and they're really bright, beautiful, and you've got those gorgeous blue skies, and it's a very like calming photo. See what they're wearing. They're most likely wearing pastel colors or more of like an earthy tone type to them,
mhm.
compared to somebody that shows up and they have like I forget what the pattern's called, a lily something.
I like the Lily Pulitzer.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
when you have that, then that is a lot going on in a
Yeah.
photo. So just take notice to what people are wearing, and that'll help you out for kind of what colors to pick and patterns and that kind of stuff. Just what your style is and what your home looks like. Like I said, so you can post or put photos up that'll match your home, your decor.
And you know what? I never even thought of trying to think about that aspect of it, of when you put them on the wall, do you want
Mhm.
it to look, in unison with everything else you have there? That never, ever, ever occurred to me to even think along those terms.
Yeah, it usually does it, and not until probably a year ago, I started asking my clients that. So I'm like, think about like, what is your decor? Is your decor, like I said, beachy? Then beach photos are going to be great for that because it's just all
Yeah.
going to blend in. So yeah, definitely check out your decor and kind of what fits in. And sometimes people are like, it doesn't matter to me, which is totally cool too. You just want to capture that family at the time that they're in right now. So sometimes that's the most important. That is usually the most important,
That's
but
important. Well, thank you again. And thanks everybody else for joining us. Until next time, take care.
yes,
Bye.
sounds great. Thank you.